Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It is Mike's Talks and Thoughts here, back again with another video for you guys. And today we have the 1-year anniversary special of my top 100 TV characters list. Now, for any of you who have followed me on the community tab on my page, you know that this was going to be tying back with a popular series here on my channel, and that is of course the characters tier list. I've done a lot of characters tier lists on my channel. I'm going to link that playlist down in the description below for any of you who love any of the shows that I showcased on that series. You can go and check out my opinions on all the characters for those shows. And yeah, I'm going to be showcasing the top 100 TV characters here. Feel free to leave your list of top 100 down below, or just commenting some of your favorite characters. I would love to see what you guys have to say here. So for this list, this is going to be like any show that I have seen. These characters are all going to be S or A tier characters for me. They're just some of the best characters, I feel like, in my personal opinion. And this is going to be, tying back with childhood shows. We could have comedies, dramas, anything can be in contention here for this list, as long as I have seen the show, and just giving my thoughts here on some of my favorite characters. And I really think characters are just so great on shows. They make the show so vibrant and so colorful here. And another thing that I want to add here before we get started here, I want to see if you guys can guess which show had the most characters represented here. I'll give you a hint. It is going to be a tie between two shows. The first person to get it in the comments, I will pin that comment in the comment section below, and then you can also comment down below your favorite show that was represented here on the list. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the list here. So at number 100, we have Kevin Arnold from the Wonder Years. Now, I just really think that Kevin is my favorite character on the entire Wonder Years cast. Fred Savage does a phenomenal job as Kevin Arnold, portraying that teenage life, with interactions with his parents and his siblings and his friend and his girlfriend. I just think that is really, really great. He does such a great job making it so relatable. And I've said on my channel before that The Wonder Years is just such a relatable show. And Kevin Arnold really is a standout on this series and comes in here at number 100. Coming in here at number 99, we have Job from Banshee. Now, Banshee here, I think, is one of the most underrated shows of all time. I really think if you're really into action-hitting dramas, you will love Banshee here. Job here, he is just such a great funny character while also being really serious as well. He works as the computer guy or the hacker with Lucas Hood, of course, and he is just so integral to the entire story. And he has a lot of great funny one-liners, and he talks with Sugar. Their interactions are amazing. I think Job is just a great, great character and comes in at number 99. Coming in here at number 98, we have Kim Wexler here from Better Call Saul. Now, for Breaking Bad, I was not really a big fan of a lot of the female characters on that show, but Better Call Saul has Kim, and Kim has been so great on Better Call Saul. I think she is just such a fantastic character, and she's really a badass character too. You don't really see that a lot in shows from female characters being a badass, but Kim is such a badass and definitely deserves a spot on this list. Coming in here at number 97 here, we have Hank Hill from King of the Hill. I really think King of the Hill is a very underrated show. I know a lot of people really love it, but it needs to be talked about in those top tier adult cartoons. Man, Mike Judge is so great at creating such great characters, and Hank Hill is just really great. I love all his interactions with his family and his friends. They're just really great. He has a lot of great funny one-liners as well, so he is really, really great as well. Comes at number 97. Coming in here at number 96, we have Bunk from The Wire here. One of my favorite guys in the police force here from the series. The Wire follows the criminal and police side of the story here. One of the most recognized shows of all time. Bunk is just such a phenomenal character. He has a lot of great interactions with McNulty and Lester Freeman and Daniels and Greggs. He really is like the comedy of the police force, and he is so awesome, man. I really think he's a great detective or police officer. Does a really great job in homicide. That's kind of his specialty department. Just his interactions with Jimmy and the way he is just such a great homicide detective. I think that he is really, really underrated here and deserves to be on this list at number 96 here. Coming in here at number 95, we're going to be taking it back to a childhood show, and that is going to be Justin Russo from Wizards of Waverly Place. This is one of my favorite childhood shows here. This was probably my favorite Disney show of all time, or at least up in that top 3 for classic Disney shows, man. Justin Russo was my favorite character on Wizards. I followed that series a lot growing up, and he was just someone who I could relate to a lot back in my adolescent years. And I think that David Henry does a really great job, especially in like a childhood show, of portraying a character that has actually a lot of emotions and is very deep. You know, he's very goofy, and I think he has a lot of great interactions with his sister and his parents here. You know, and such a great wizard, man. Justin was just so dedicated to his craft. It was really amazing. So I really like Justin Russo a lot, and it comes in here at number 95 on the list. But next here at number 94, we have Duncan from Total Drama here. Another childhood show, Cartoon Network. I think Duncan is really great, man. He was always one of my favorites, you know, in the Total Drama Island. I also really like him in the other series as well, Action and World Tour. I think Duncan was just amazing character. I just really connected with him a lot. I think he was just a really badass character and one of the better contestants on the entire show. But next here, moving into number 93, we have Kenny Powers from Eastbound and Down. Kenny Powers, man, was just so great. I think his character was just phenomenally played. You know, this kind of loser baseball guy who was knocked out of the league, and you know, we see his comeback story. Danny McBride does a phenomenal job playing Kenny Powers. He can be really deep and emotional while also being super funny. You know, this is a really dark comedy show, so a lot of great jokes are said, and he does a really great job of making this Kenny Powers feel like such a jerk and a douche, but he's just so likable at the same time. It's so great. So number 93 here is Kenny Powers. And number 92, we have Andy Dwyer from Parks and Recreation here. Andy was always just a great, fun, lovable character. Another one who's really funny and really brings that energy to the show. Chris Pratt does a great job playing Andy. If you love a lot of funny, lovable characters who will make you laugh and smile, Andy is definitely one of the top tier ones at doing that. Next year, moving into number 91, we have Dewey Wilkinson here from Malcolm in the Middle. Another one of the most underrated shows. I feel like Malcolm doesn't get the love that it should, and Dewey was just so amazing. The transformation of Dewey from season 1 to season 7 of Malcolm is just really amazing. I think that, you know, Dewey, he is so young when the show first starts. You know, he's like 6 or 7 years old, and he really grows up to be this really cool character. I love his dedication with music. I think he's just such a well thought out. He's probably like the deepest character on Malcolm in the Middle. Like, you see, you know, his other siblings, and, you know, they're kind of, you know, not as deep as Dewey is. I think Dewey has a lot of structure to his character. I think he does a great job. Eric Persullivan does a great job as Dewey, and I think he has the biggest growth of any character from the start of the show to the end of the show. I think Dewey has the strongest growth in the show. So yeah, coming in at number 91, Dewey. Number 90 here, we're going to have Homer Simpson, one of the most iconic TV characters of all time. I love Homer, man. I love throwing on The Simpsons and watching Simpsons clips, and Homer, you know, is so great. You know, the star of the show. I really like a lot of other characters on The Simpsons, but Homer is my favorite here. Just such a classic character here from one of the most classic shows of all time. I mean, if you haven't seen The Simpsons yet, where have you been all these 30 years? Definitely check it out, because Homer is so amazing. Moving in here to number 89, we have Cosmo Kramer from Seinfeld. Now, admittedly, I have not seen a ton of Seinfeld, but man, Kramer is just so hilarious. Easily my favorite character on the show here. So I've seen some of the best episodes and some of the earlier episodes, and Kramer just shines high in everything, man. Kramer is just a fantastic character, and I think he just brings out a laugh from everyone in Seinfeld here. I think a lot of people would agree that he is like the strongest character, or one of the strongest in Seinfeld. And next here at number 88, we have Michael from The Good Place. Now, Ted Danson here has really evolutionized his career, from his work on Cheers to now his work here on The Good Place. I admittedly have never seen Cheers. That's a show that I do need to get into, as it's one of the most popular. But Ted Danson, man, I know he's one of the most celebrated actors of all time, for good reason. He does such a great job here as Michael on The Good Place. He plays this architect who is structuring this good place here, and I think that he's just such a, again, fruitful, lovable character, and another one who has a lot of growth and development throughout the series here. Roy does a good job at connecting with all the other main characters here on the cast, and such a legendary actor playing him, and Roy brings this character to life. And next here, number 87, we're going to stick with the Good Place trend here. We're going to go with Eleanor Shellstrop, played by Kristen Bell, on The Good Place here. I think this is her strongest role by far here. I think that Eleanor as a character is really strong. I like her and Michael are very, very similar to me, and how they just work so well with all of the rest of the cast. And the acting is just really great with both of those characters. Both feel like they're the forefront or the center stage here on The Good Place, and I cannot say enough good things about that show and about Eleanor and Michael here. So number 87, we have Eleanor. And number 86 here, we're going to be going back in here to Malcolm in the Middle, and we're going to be going with Hal Wilkerson, played by probably my favorite actor of all time, Bryan Cranston here. Hal is just so funny. Some of the funniest clips from Malcolm in the Middle revolve around Hal. Hal just with his ordeal as a father, and his big freakouts are hilarious. Just such a great range with Bryan Cranston. Hal just plays this good guy who wants to do good for his kids while also keeping his wife satisfied. I think Hal is a really great character. Another one with a lot of great development throughout the show here. Coming in here next at number 85, we have Owen from Total Drama. So I already showcased Duncan, but Owen is my favorite character on Total Drama. You can't love Owen, man. You can't not love Owen. He is just so funny, he has a lot of that slapstick humor and that little kind of childish humor, but it's still funny to this day. Another great classic character, and probably the most recognizable, or one of the most recognizable Total Drama characters of all time here. Owen is just such a legend in the universe. Coming in here next, we have number 84, and that is going to be David Fisher from 6 Feet Under. Now, admittedly, I'm not as big on the 6 Feet Under characters as most people. I really kind of like the themes more, and the story more for 6 Feet Under than the characters, but David is by far my favorite character on the show. Michael C. Hall, again, with Bryan Cranston, one of my favorite actors of all time here, and does a really great job playing David. He's this gay guy who is probably my favorite gay character in any show. I think he's just does such a great job of portraying someone who was gay back in the year 2000. I think they do a really great job here on 6 Feet Under. Him and Keith's relationship is like some of my favorite from the show here. David is just such a fantastic character. Really shows a lot of depth in his character. Really cares for everyone around him, tries to do the best that he can, and I think it does a really good job on the show here. So 84 here, we have David Fisher here. Next here at number 83, we have the lovable Donald Glover as Troy Barnes from Community. So Troy here comes in at number 83. And, Troy and Abed, who I will be getting to later on the list, have some of the best dynamics of two guys in a group. I just think that their bromance is awesome. Troy was always one of my favorite characters, especially from the earlier seasons. I think that's where he shines the highest. Some of the best episodes as well revolve around Troy. Troy and Abed especially, like I said, they have probably the best duo, or one of my favorite duos of any show. Donald Glover, man, just such a great personality to play such a vibrant character in Troy Barnes, and he really funny and works really well off the other main characters on the show. But now here, let's move into number 82, and that is going to be Deborah Morgan from Dexter here. So a few spots ago, we talked about her castmate Michael C. Hall on his other show, 6 Feet Under. And now we're bringing it to Dexter here with Deborah Morgan. Another one of my favorite female characters. Another one kind of like Kim Wexler and being a badass. I really like Deborah. There was points, though, that Deborah kind of got on my nerves, but for the most part, Deborah was awesome, especially in the earlier seasons. She is just such a badass character. You know, she really fights for what she wants and is just such a great personality. I just think that she works really well with the rest of the homicide detectives in the Miami Metro. Her talks with LaGuerta, with Batista, with Dexter himself are really great, and she is a really great character. Jennifer Carpenter does a great job here. Coming in here now at number 81, we have Carl Winslow from Family Matters. Carl, man, was just such a great character, man. Reginald VelJohnson, one of my favorite actors from the 90s, man. One of my favorite shows of all time, Family Matters. Dude, Carl was so awesome, man. Carl was just such a lovable father figure, and his interactions with Steve on the show, him and Steve Urkel, some of the funniest TV for me, man. I loved watching it growing up. I really like him as a father figure. He's one of my favorite father figures of all time. Doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Such a great character. Carl Winslow, number 81. Now let's move in here to number 80. We have Avon Barksdale from The Wire, man. Avon was a fantastic character. One of my favorite villains of all time. Probably in my top 10 villains of all time. Avon was such a great leader here and one of the best characters, especially from the first season here. I think that Woody Harris does such a great job. I love a lot of other projects he's done, but Avon Barksdale is a character, you know, another one that is just such an enforcer and such a presence. You know, I love the scene when he's walking through the pit, and you can just see how, like, the power that Avon has in this world, and it's just so fantastic to see. So number 80 here, we have Avon. But someone who I thought was a little bit better than Avon in The Wire, and coming in here number 79 on the list, is going to be Marlo Stanfield here. Marlo, you know, is mainly predominant in those later seasons, as he doesn't even make an appearance until season 3 here. But Marlo, played by Jamie Hector, another one of my favorite actors. Such a phenomenal job as a villain. Another one who feels like an enforcer, but someone who's not as recognized on the streets. You know, that's a really big theme in the show here with Marlo, but I just think that he is a little bit better than Avon, but they're pretty much right on that same level of being the top of the drug guys in The Wire here. Next here at number 78, we have a package deal in Beavis and Butthead here. Beavis and Butthead, wow, these guys are just really great duo. I had to keep these guys as a package deal because you can't have one without the other. You can't have Beavis without Butthead, and you can't have Butthead without Beavis. I mean, even look at the episode when that happens, where what Beavis' life would be like without Butthead, man. It just doesn't feel right, man. These two guys stay together, so I had to keep them as a package deal here. At number 78, I really love Beavis and Butthead. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. One of my favorite cartoons. And these two characters, man, they're just so stupid but so lovable, man. I just find them so funny. You know, that slapstick humor always gets me all the time. You know, you can never go wrong with it. And Beavis and Butthead, such icons for MTV in the 90s here. And even coming back in the 2010s, 2011, coming back, they were a hit even then, I feel like. These two characters are just some of the most recognized cartoon characters of all time, and I just really like them a lot. So number 78, Beavis and Butthead. Coming in here, number 77, another one of the most recognizable cartoon characters of all time. That is going to be Eric Cartman from South Park here. Now, admittedly, I have not seen a ton of South Park here, but Eric Cartman was always my favorite. I love watching clips with Eric. I think he's the funniest character to me, man. Eric just goes off on everyone. I just find it hilarious. Eric is, really an asshole, but really just such a great character, man. Makes me laugh the hardest, and that's what makes a great character in a comedy. If you can make me laugh like Eric does, is so great. So yeah, 77 here, Eric Cartman. Coming in next here at number 76 is going to be Lucas Hood from Banshee. So I've already talked about Joe Pure, my favorite character, Lucas Hood. I think Anthony Starr does a phenomenal job portraying Lucas Hood here on Banshee, and what a great badass character. Again, if you like badass characters, check him out, man. He has a lot of great fight scenes, man, and it's just so determined and really one of the best lead characters in a show. I really love Lucas Hood here. Comes in at number 76 on the list. Coming in next at number 75, we have Michael Kelso from That 70s Show here. We get a little bit of That 70s Show showcased here now. One of my favorite shows of all time. Ashton Kutcher, this is probably my favorite role that he's ever done. Michael Kelso, just such a naive and dumb character. Really funny. Works really well with Jackie and Hyde, Eric, Red, Fez. Just a lot of great interactions, man. I love the, again, slapstick humor with Kelso, the dumb humor, really, really great with Kelso in the show. But coming in here next, number 74, we have his counterpart in Hyde here, Stephen Hyde. Played by the infamous Danny Masterson. We won't get into Danny Masterson here, but we'll get into Hyde. Hyde is one of my favorite characters, man. Kind of like the leader of the circle, I'd say. Eric's the main guy on the show, but Hyde, man, really great. Has some of the funniest interactions with Red and Leo on the show. Hyde, just one of another badass kind of characters. Stoner in the 70s. Can't get enough of Hyde, man. So number 74, Stephen Hyde. Coming in here next, number 73, we have Joey Tribbiani from Friends. Another one just like Kelso, man, with the dumb humor. I love it, man. Joey is so awesome. Another lovable guy here on Friends, one of the most iconic shows of all time. And Joey here was always one of my favorites. I love another one of the best bromances in Joey and Chandler here on the show. Joey was always a great character. Matt LeBlanc does such a great job as Joey here. We're not going to talk about his spin-off show, but him as Joey Tribbiani on Friends, some of the funniest clips. I love when he puts on all of Chandler's clothes. His acting as Drake Ramore is really great. So number 73 here, Joey Tribbiani. Next here, number 72, one of the most recognizable TV characters of all time, and that is going to be Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead here. Andrew Lincoln, phenomenal job here as Rick Grimes is like the leader of this group during the apocalypse. I really like Rick, another one who just does what he wants and is really great at it. I love his interactions with the rest of the group or the main circle here in The Walking Dead. Rick is just such a phenomenal character and one of the best protectors, of course, in the show. Rick Grimes, such an iconic character, had to make an appearance on this list. Moving back in here to the comedy section at number 71, we have my favorite Big Bang Theory character, and that's going to be Howard Wolowitz, so from the Big Bang Theory. So Howard here, Simon Helberg, I love him. I think he's a great actor, and this show really gets a lot of heat, but I still enjoy it. I think Howard is really great. He has a lot of those great interactions with Penny and Leonard. I really like his humor in the earlier seasons is really great, and then he really settles down, with Bernadette. I think that Howard is a really great character here. Easily the one that makes me laugh the most. I know a lot of people love Sheldon here, and I'll give Sheldon a shout here, but Howard for me has got to be my favorite here from the Big Bang Theory, and comes in here at number 71. Next here, moving in here to number 70, Bobby Bacala from The Sopranos here. Bobby, man, really, really great. Such a lovable character. Easily the most lovable character on The Sopranos, man. I just think that Bobby was so great. His interactions with Tony, his fight with Tony is such an iconic moment. He just deserves so much, man. He deserved the world. Bobby was so lovable. him with Junior through most of the series here, really great. I just think he's just such a great character. Wish we could have seen Bobby even a little bit more, man. I think we would love to see more Bobby. Great funny character as well. He can be funny. They like making jokes about his weight, and he really does a great job on the show. One of my favorite Sopranos characters. Coming in here next at number 69, the infamous 69, we have Silvio Dante from The Sopranos, man. It was so tough picking between Bobby and Silvio because they're both so great, but I gotta give Silvio the edge here. Silvio was one of my favorites, especially in the later seasons, man. He really turns into this really great right-hand man for Tony, and I really just like him a lot. He's the kind of guy who's like a no shit kind of guy. This guy really just puts his head down, gets his work done. Another badass character, man. I love his interactions with the rest of the group. I think he's one of the most solid enforcers for the Jersey mob here. And Silvio, man, such a great character on the show. I really liked him a lot. Coming in here next at number 68, we have Crazy Steve here. So featured here in my side characters list, Crazy Steve, played by Jerry Trainer, man. Oh my lord, from Drake and Josh here. Crazy Steve from Drake and Josh, just some of the funniest scenes, especially with Josh, man. He's just so great. This guy who just plays this guy who's literally crazy, freaks out at pretty much everything. So funny. One of the best characters that makes some of the funniest episodes in the show he's involved in. Crazy Steve is such a legend in the Nickelodeon universe here. Another one of my favorite childhood shows, Drake and Josh, and Crazy Steve makes his appearance here at number 68 on the list. Now, next here at number 67, we have Muscle Man from regular show here. Muscle Man, I really liked him. My mom. Love those little one-liners from Muscle Man. I think he's involved in some of the funniest episodes. I love when he goes to see his dad at the Trucker Hall of Fame. Him and High Five Ghost, again, one of my favorite duos on the show. And he has a lot of great interactions with Mordecai, Rigby, Benson, Skips. Muscle Man, just such a great character, man. Really fun guy. That's all I have to say about Muscle Man. Next here at number 66, we're going to go with the opposite of Muscle Man. Muscle Man's really crazy and out there and outlandish. Next, we're going to go with the grounded one that really gets the job done for the group, and that's going to be Skips here. So Skips from regular show number 66. Skips is just a really great character. He's such a great problem solver. He can be really funny at points as well. Skips is just someone who really helps out the group a lot. Such a likable character. Skip's story is probably a top 5 episode in the show for me. I love his backstory. Really great character, really developed character. You learn about all the stuff that he can do because he's immortal. It's really, really great. All the storylines that Skips can be a part of, and just such a great character. Coming in next here, number 65, we have Malloy from Brickleberry, staying here with the cartoon theme. Malloy is my favorite character here on Brickleberry. Him and Woody's interactions are hilarious. Him and Connie and Denzel and Ethel and Steve. He's really great, man. I think he's at the forefront of a lot of jokes. Another one of these cartoons that really a lot of people haven't seen much of, but I definitely feel like Malloy here, one of my favorite characters, always got a kick out of me. Coming in here next at number 64, we have Troy's counterpart in Abed here. Abed Nadir from Community here. Danny Pudi, what a great job as Abed, man. This little quirky, weird guy who, has a lot of great one-liners and a lot of great interactions. I love his interactions with Troy and Jeff on the show. This guy who's really out there and really unique kind of character. I really like the normal characters, but the unique characters, really stand out, really become memorable in your head, and such a great imagination and I really liked his films. They were amazing on the show. So yeah, Abed comes in here at number 64. Coming in here next at number 63, we have Reese Wilkerson. Again, someone who really brings that dumb sort of humor, like I mentioned with Kelso earlier. Someone who I just really liked his interactions with Malcolm. I love some of my favorite episodes revolve around Reese. You know, when Reese goes and joins the military, that's really great. When Reese goes and takes his driver's test. Some of my favorite episodes, some of the funniest episodes. You know, you can't go wrong with dumb humor, and Reese is really great at that. And he became one of my favorites, especially moving towards the end of the series. But coming in here next at number 62, we have Francis Wilkerson here. It was really tough picking between Francis and Reese because Francis was always like my number one guy. But then Reese kind of started taking over. But the more I thought about it, Francis I also really liked. Francis in those earlier seasons when he was in military school were so great, man. Francis is just such a great character, man. Played by Christopher Masterson, the better Masterson. Wow, I just really liked Francis's character. One of my favorites. You know, like I said with Reese, they really worked well together. Reese was someone who I liked a little bit more in the later seasons, but Francis, I really liked his relationship with the people at the ranch when he becomes involved in that, and then the Alaskan storyline too, as well as some of the funniest moments. I just think he's involved in some of the funniest scenes. Really great, lovable character, man. So Francis here comes in here at number 62. Coming in here next at number 61, we have one of the best TV dads out there in Phil Dunphy from Modern Family. Phil has always been my favorite character on Modern Family. You know, he's just such a lovable, fun guy who has a lot of great chemistry with the rest of the cast. Ty Burrell does a really great job as Phil, you know. And we always know Modern Family for having those really great legacy actors like Ed O'Neill, Sofia Vergara. But Ty Burrell, man, I think he really just steals the show here. Phil is just such a guy you want as your father, man. Such a lovable guy. Really loves his kids, his family. Really funny guy as well. I love him in Real Estate. Really great, outgoing character. So yeah, 61, Phil Dunphy. Coming in here at number 60, another one of these little fun-loving characters. It's going to be Fernando Sucre from Prison Break. Such a reliable and loyal friend, man. Sucre was just so amazing. Came in so clutch in so many moments. I really liked his character a lot. Him and Michael have some of the best duo performances. Him and Michael Scofield, of course, being cellmates in Prison Break. He makes for such a great character. I love just his freakouts and, you know, whether it be with Murray Cruz or the episode where they have to do the drilling from the first season, one of my favorite scenes. Again, someone just so lovable and someone who is really loyal. Coming in here, number 59, we have Happy Lohman from Sons of Anarchy here. First Sons of Anarchy character making an appearance on this list, one of my favorite shows of all time. And man, I just love Happy. Man, you cannot love Sons of Anarchy and not love Happy, man. Happy Lohman was so great. I always loved seeing Happy. You know, he's kind of really sporadic through those first earlier seasons, but when he becomes more of a regular character, I loved it, man. David LaBrava is so great. You know, he has a lot of backstory with the actual Hells Angels and being part of an MC. So it's really great that, you know, he feels authentic. And I love, you know, Happy's tattoos. I love the scenes with Happy, man. Just his demeanor, really great, really funny guy as well. Man, I couldn't get enough of Happy. So yeah, coming in here number 59, Happy Lohman. Coming in here next at number 58, we have Jason Mendoza from The Good Place. My favorite character from The Good Place here. Jason, man, was so great. I loved his interactions with Janet, someone who was also very close to making it here on the list here. I loved those two. This is just really funny interactions. And, you know, again, another one who brings the dumb humor here. Someone who, you know, acts really stupid and can be really funny with it. I loved, you know, learning more about Jason's backstory. You know, they have him kind of start out as like this monk at first, which I think was hilarious. And then, like I said, his backstory with his father and his friends, really make a great appearance here on the show and makes for a very great character. At number 58, Jason Mendoza. Coming in here at number 57, the first Game of Thrones character on the list, Davos Seaworth here. Love Davos, man. Someone who I was a little bit iffier on in the earlier seasons, but as the show progressed, Davos was just so amazing, man. He's not like this fighter. He's not like a really badass character in the sense that he can wield a sword well, but just his influence and his talking ability and his ability to be kind of like a right-hand man, like not as a protector-wise, but just kind of someone who is great at giving advice, was really great. I really like Davos, man. Someone like Tyrion, who can be compared in the series to someone who used his brains more than his sword skills. And I really liked his character a lot, man. Davos was amazing and was very integral to the entire story here. So at number 57 here, Davos Seaworth. Number 56 here, we have Spencer Shea from iCarly here. We've already mentioned his counterpart from Jerry Trainer and Crazy Steve and Drake and Josh, but I liked Spencer more, maybe because he's a little bit more of a main character. Spencer kind of like is like such an opposite of Crazy Steve. Crazy Steve is just like someone who freaked out a lot and had a lot of just great funny moments, while Spencer is a little bit more deeper as a character, but he's another one who's kind of that dumb and fun humor. Really great person to bring life into this show, man. I think without Spencer, this show would really be losing an aspect. Spencer Shea, he's really my favorite character on iCarly here. He's great with everyone that he interacts with. Spencer, just such a fun, lovable character. Coming in here next at number 55, we have Paulie Gualtieri from The Sopranos, man. Especially in those earlier seasons, I loved Paulie, man. Paulie Walnuts, wow, what a great character. Someone who's really funny, man. My favorite episode in the series probably is Pine Barrens. I love his interactions with Christopher, man. So funny. Paulie really brings the comedy to the drama portion of this episode, but he can also be really serious. I love how he's been involved in this game so long, and he knows how to play the game, man. That's what you got to do when you're in the mob, man. Paulie, such a great character here. One of the best supporting characters, even though he's pretty much in the main cast. Supporting characters in the mob, really great character. Number 54 here, we have Dustin Henderson from Stranger Things. Wow, man. Stranger Things season 4 has been phenomenal so far, and Dustin Henderson, man, just so great. Wow, I've loved him ever since like the first season of Stranger Things. I love his relationships with Steve. They always have great demeanor back and forth, and probably my favorite of definitely my favorite of the main four. Mike, Lucas, Will, and Dustin. Dustin is my favorite. I liked him, his pet cat, and then he has the demo dog. I think that was a great storyline. His relationship with Susie, builds and becomes stronger. Just a really great character. Gaten Mazzarato does a great job as Dustin here. Surprise, motherfucker. Coming in here at number 53, we have James Dokes from Dexter, man. Who didn't love Dokes, man? Dokes is like one of the best side characters or best villain characters to Dexter. He is really great, man. Dokes, some of the best one-liners. Surprise, motherfucker is easily probably the most iconic thing to come out of that show. Dokes is really great. Eric King does a phenomenal job as Dokes in the series. I don't think there's a single person I've met that doesn't like Dokes, man. Dokes, he's just such a hothead, but he's so great in the Miami Metro cast. I love his interactions with Dexter, some of the best in the show. With Deborah, Angel, LaGuerta, really shines high as one of the best characters, man. Dokes, such a legend. Coming in here now at number 52, we have Tony Soprano. My favorite Sopranos character here. I know that's not much of a shock to most people, but for the most part, Paulie was my favorite character in the first few seasons, but Tony, man, Such a great acting job by James Gandolfini, man. Rest in peace, James Gandolfini. Tony Soprano, some of the best acting, man. He's just such a deep character, man, with his family life and his mob life. Tony Soprano. I know people were probably expecting him to be a little bit higher on the list. I do like Tony a lot. While I do think that there's a lot of characters that are better than him, Tony Soprano inarguably deserves a spot on this list for being one of the most iconic TV characters of all time, and personally, one of my favorite characters as well. The Sopranos, a great show, and Tony Soprano, a great character. Coming here next at number 51, we have Fez from That 70s Show. Wow, Fez, man, with his dirty jokes and his great humor, man, really makes this show. He is such a perfect balance to the rest of the group, man. Fez is just an out there, unique character. Again, love the unique characters as well. He really reminds me a little bit of Abed in the fact that, he's very quirky and very just unique in that way. They're not really similar personality-wise, but just the way that they kind of appear, man, I just really like him a lot. So 51, Fez. Next year, we're halfway through the list. At number 50, we have Squidward Tentacles from SpongeBob, man. Who didn't love Squidward on SpongeBob? Great childhood show here. Squidward becomes so relatable as you get older, man. I know a lot of people, when they were growing up, they didn't really like Squidward as much, but you really become to appreciate Squidward, man. Some of the best episodes of SpongeBob ever made, and some of the best TV episodes ever made involves Squidward, man. One of the most iconic characters of all time. Easily deserves to be a part of the top 50 here. Coming in next at number 49, we got Hugh Babineau from Breaking Bad here. One of my favorite side characters of all time. Hugh is just such a legend, man. Can't get enough of Hugh. Hugh, man. Lavelle Crawford, what a great job playing Hugh, man. Just this bodyguard for Saul who, has really funny moments with Jesse, with Saul, with Patrick Cuby, played by Bill Burr. I just think he is really, really funny character. Everyone loves Hugh. There's not anyone who doesn't like Hugh. Hugh is a legend and will forever be a legend. Coming in here next, at number 48, we have Oberyn Martell from Game of Thrones here. Wow. If I could redo my Game of Thrones characters tier list, Oberyn is definitely in the S tier, man. As I've watched more and done more research and stuff, man, Oberyn has just been so great. Season 4 is one of the greatest TV seasons ever made, and Oberyn Martell, man. Some of the best episodes in the entire show revolve around Oberyn. The Mountain and the Viper, easily in my top 5 Game of Thrones episodes of all time. Oberyn is phenomenal, man. Does a really, really great job of just being this, eccentric character who we only get introduced to in season 4, but he's really great. I love his interactions with Tywin. That you can see the tension there with Tyrion. They're amazing, and he's really a family man. You get to see he cares so much for his sister and his wife and his kids, and he's the Red Viper of Dawn, man. I will be your champion. I just love Oberyn, man. Oberyn became one of my favorite characters on the show. Number 48 here, Oberyn Martell. Coming in here next, number 47, we have DEA agent Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad. Now, Hank, I would classify in the Elite Six here, along with, Hugh's kind of a little bit on the outside. I think that Hugh could easily be, number 7 on the list here. But the Elite Six here from Breaking Bad, Hank's got to be a part of it. Hank Schrader, great character, one of the funniest characters. Him and Saul have some of the best interactions. Him and Walter, this little cat and mouse game that they play. Hank is really, really great here. Really funny. Dean Norris was just so great. He's really great in comedy as well. He can really be funny while also being really serious and badass. Hank, one of the most badass characters as well. definitely deserves a spot on this list. Coming in here next at number 46, we have Marshall Erickson from How I Met Your Mother. I love Marshall Erickson. Jason Segel does a great job as Marshall. Another fun-loving, outgoing guy. If you wanted to make a friend, man, Marshall would be the guy that you'd want to definitely be friends with, man. Marshall is just such a great, lovable character here in the How I Met Your Mother universe, and comes in here at number 46 on the list. Coming in here next at number 45, we have Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. One of my favorites from the start of the show, and someone who really progressively, I think, gets better. She has a lot of great moments. I love her interactions with the Hound. Some of my favorite in the entire show. And she's really separated through a lot of the show from like the others, and you get to see her journey as she progresses and becomes better on her own. She becomes one of the most underrated and one of the most skilled swordsmen in the show. She fights more with agility and not with power, but you can see that's another thing I really like about Oberyn is how they can fight. You don't need to be super strong if you can be agile and quick on the draw. It's really great. So Arya comes in here at number 45 on the list. Coming in here at number 44, we have Grady Davenport from Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Another one of my favorite childhood shows, and Grady, man, was so great. This janitor who is at the middle school who, talks with Ned, Cookie, and Mose. His schemes were always hilarious, like the plans that he'd come up with. And, he was like kind of like what you would expect a cool janitor to be like, just someone who slacks off and, can have fun with the students. It's really, really great. Grady comes in here at number 44 on the list. Coming in here next year at number 43, we have Opie Winston from Sons of Anarchy, man. I really love Opie. Ryan Hurst does a great job as Opie. I love the deepness of Opie. I love him in the club. He was like always one of my fan favorites, man. Opie was always a fan favorite, and I really gravitated towards Opie, man. Opie's story is so tragic, and you feel for him in that sense. Opie is just one of my favorites and one of the fan favorites of Sons of Anarchy here. Coming here next, number 42, we have Lalo Salamanca from Better Call Saul here. Someone who really stole the show, man. When I remember watching Better Call Saul when he first got introduced in the end of season 4, I really wasn't as big on him because, he was really going after Mike. And Mike, is one of my favorites. I'll get to him a little bit later on the list. But yeah, Lalo, through season 5 and season 6, turned into one of my favorite characters of all time. Tony Dalton does such a great job as Lalo, being this charismatic figure. It's really, really, really great here. So, yeah, Lalo Salamanca comes in here at number 42 on the list. Coming in here at number 41, we have his counterpart of Gus Frank here, Gustavo Frank from Breaking Bad here. We're mainly going to be talking about Breaking Bad, but he's also in Better Call Saul. Gustavo Frank, man, is just really, really great. One of the best TV villains of all time. I think he's in my top 3 TV villains ever. One of the most, well fleshed out characters. Giancarlo Esposito is such a great actor, and Gus Frank is such a legend in the whole Breaking Bad universe here. Coming in here at number 40, we have Chibs Telford from Sons of Anarchy. Chibs and Opie were really difficult to rank because I really think they're right there on the same tier, but man, Chibs was so great. I loved his interactions with Jax were great. Him, Opie, and Jax always had really great interactions. Chibs really steps up in the club. I love learning about his family life. He's really funny as well. His relationship with Juice, even, like their bond together, connecting, really great. One of the most loyal members to the club, and Chibs was just such a badass as well. So comes in at number 40 on the list. Coming here next at number 39, one of the most recognizable TV characters of all time, that is going to be Peter Griffin here from Family Guy. Wow. I mean, you can't say enough about Peter, man. Everyone who's seen Family Guy loves Peter, I would say. Peter is just such a great character, one of the funniest characters. I mean, you can't watch a great Peter scene and not laugh, man. Peter Griffin, I mean, don't have to say much. He's just really iconic. Coming in here next, number 38, we have Benson from Regular Show. Now, Benson, man, one of my favorite characters of all time and one of my favorite cartoon characters ever. His rage moments, Benson's rage compilations are some of the funniest moments on Regular Show. That's why I really love him. Like, I know he can be kind of a jerk at points, but you feel for Benson, man. He just wants to get work done, man. All Mordecai and Rigby do is slacking. He just wants them to get to work and be productive. And Benson is just, I just love his rage moments, man. They're some of the funniest moments in TV, man. Comes in at number 38 on the list. Coming in here next at number 37, we have Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead. My favorite Walking Dead character. Admittedly, I have not seen, to this point, anything with Negan in it. He would probably be on this list if I had. I know he's one of the fan favorites here. My favorite character on the show is Daryl Dixon here. Daryl is really, really great. I think he is like such a badass. I know him and Rick are really great. I love the trademark crossbow with Daryl. I love his relationship with his brother. I think they really go back. He's such a valuable member to the group here. Daryl is just amazing, man. I just really connected with Daryl really early on. Rick was always like my favorite from the first couple seasons, but as it progressed on, Daryl started becoming more and more amazing to me. And Daryl was always one of my favorites, even from the beginning. Daryl will live on as a legend. Coming in here next, number 36, we have Lincoln Burrows from Prison Break here. Lincoln Burrows, man. Lincoln is so slept on, man. He's so underrated. Lincoln is just one of my favorite TV characters of all time. People do not give him credit, man. Another badass character. Him and Michael are so great together. He just really has a lot of badass moments that really make me like him a lot, man. I know his character can kind of be flat at times, but I think he's very great with everyone else. And his just fight scenes and, him getting out of the situations that he's put in is really great. Next here at number 35, we have Sandor Clegane, the Hound from Game of Thrones. Some of the funniest, greatest interactions in the entire show come from the Hound, man. I already mentioned that Arya and the Hound have some of the best back and forth dynamics throughout the entire show. That's great. I love, his revenge that he wants to get on his brother for, burning his face when he was little. And the Hound, man, I love his scenes. He's such a badass fighter, man. I freaking love the Hound. The Hound, one of my favorite characters of all time. One of the best Game of Thrones characters ever made. I can't get enough of the Hound, man. The Hound from House Clegane. Some of the best scenes, some of the most rewatchable scenes come from the Hound and deserves to be so high up on this list at number 35. Coming in here next, number 34, we're going to be bringing it back to the childhood shows with Cookie from Nessie Classified School Survival Guide. Wow, I loved Cookie. Another one of these tech-savvy guys. Really great interactions with Ned and Mose. I loved his interactions with Lisa Zemo. At first she's very ugly and has all these allergy problems, and she really likes him. But he just not interested in them when she finally gets hot, and then she doesn't want to go out with him, and he starts to like her now. Really great back and forth interactions there. Him and Gordy have some of the best schemes and plans ever. I think that they're really both great together, and that's why they both made it really high up on this list. Cookie's such a great character, man. I really wish I could see him in some more stuff. His actor is really great. Daniel Lee Curtis, phenomenal. Coming in here next at number 33, we have Pierce Hawthorne from Community. Now this is a really hot take here. How Pierce to me is my favorite character on the show. Chevy Chase is just really great, man. Especially the first few seasons of Pierce, man. Seasons 1 and 2. Pierce is some of the funniest lines to me in the whole show come from Pierce. I love Pierce, man. This old dude going to college. It's really great to see. I love Pierce, man. I think just some of the funniest episodes revolve around Pierce. Like I've said for a lot of these characters, Pierce is just really funny. Always got a kick out of me. Next here, number 32, we have Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. Jon Snow, man, another one of these badass fighters and someone who really, really grows from the start of the series to where Jon finishes, man. It's just so great. Jon Snow, what a phenomenal, phenomenal character, man. And you learn about the past with Jon, and it really just adds such a new level to his character. He's just so likable, so loyal. You know, being a part of the Starks, you know, you get that loyalty trait. Jon Snow was one of the best and one of the fan favorites on the show. Coming in here next, number 31, another fan favorite, we have Steve Harrington from Stranger Things. Steve, man, you can't not like Steve, man. I know in the first season, Steve is so unlikable, but then as it goes on, Steve becomes so great, man. Steve is just so charismatic and, you know, Roy connects well with his group, friends. You know, really helps out the younger group. I think he's just so great in that aspect. Joe Keery, wow, what a great job portraying Steve in the show. And I agree with most people, man, just such a fan favorite. Another guy who just stands up for his group, really puts himself out there, and it's really great to see. So yeah, number 31, Steve Harrington. Coming in here next to number 30, we have Waldo Faldo from Family Matters, man. Waldo was so great, man. Sean Harrison, phenomenal, man. Him and Steve, some of the funniest interactions I've ever seen in any show ever. Him and Eddie, some of the funniest scenes. An Officer and a Waldo is my second favorite comedy episode of all time. You know, that's the whole episode basically revolving around Waldo. Some of the funniest scenes. Probably my favorite, like, dumb humor guy of all time, or at least up there in that discussion here. Waldo is just a fantastic character. Can't get enough of Waldo. Some of the funniest scenes in the show, you know, revolve around Steve, but I think Waldo also has some of the funniest scenes in the entire show here. Works well off of everyone in the show and deserves to be at number 30 on the list. Next here at number 29, we have Glenn Quagmire from Family Guy. I mean, who doesn't know Glenn and love Glenn Quagmire, man? Again, like Peter, man, some of the funniest scenes in the entire show revolve around Quagmire. You know, I know he has his bad moments, but man, when Quagmire is at his highest, it's like some of the funniest TV you'll ever see. Glenn, you know, such a unique character. I really like Glenn a lot. Glenn Quagmire, man. Quagmire, giddy. Just love Quagmire, man. Comes in at number 29 on the list. Next here, number 28, we have Kevin Malone from The Office. Brian Baumgartner, man, what a great job playing Kevin Malone, man. Kevin Malone, again, like with Waldo's, up there with some of the funniest dumb humor guys. And then there's also the theory that Kevin is actually a genius. And there's a whole theory on that of like all the great stuff that he does or the ways he cons Dunder Mifflin out of money. But man, again, some of the funniest scenes revolve around Kevin. Kevin's chili. You know, when Kevin goes and he starts talking with like less words. Just so great. You know, I think he makes a lot of great jokes against Angela and, you know, really fun guy in The Office. So yeah, number 28, Kevin Malone. And next here at number 27, we're going to put Creed Bratton here. Another one of these great TV Office characters from The Office here. Creed is so great, man. Just some of the funniest, like, crazy, outlandish moments, man. Creed, bro, I really want to know like, a lot more about Creed. Like a backstory on Creed would be so hilarious. And yeah, Creed is amazing. Comes in at number 27 on the list. But coming in here next, number 26, we have my favorite side character on The Office, and that is going to be Stanley Hudson here. It's really tough picking between Stanley, Kevin, and Creed here, but ultimately I put Stanley here at number 26. Stanley is just such a great guy. I think he's a very relatable guy, you know, just not wanting to come to work. Stress Relief, my favorite episode of The Office, revolves a lot around Stanley, and just really great funny interactions. Just such a relatable guy, so that's what makes him so great. Next here at number 25, we have Saul Goodman, Better Call Saul, from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, but mainly Breaking Bad here. Bob Odenkirk, one of my favorite actors of all time. What a phenomenal job he does as Saul Goodman, man. Funny, probably the funniest character on the show. Saul is really great, you know, helping out Walt and Jesse with all their kind of criminal connections. Great lawyer on the show, you know, get you out of any situation. I think Saul is just phenomenal, man. Better Call Saul. Next here, moving into number 24, we have Omar Little from The Wire, one of the best anti-heroes ever made. Rest in peace, Michael K. Williams. You know, I have that Michael K. Williams tribute video here on the channel. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. Omar Little, what a great character, man. You know, he robs drug dealers for a living. You know, such a deep character. Is involved in some of the best moments in the show. Omar was just really great and such a legend in the TV world. Coming in here next, number 23, we have Stewie Griffin here from Family Guy. Stewie here is probably my favorite Family Guy character of all time. I just think he is the funniest character. You know, him, Quagmire, and Peter are all kind of right on that same tier, funny-wise, but I just really like Stewie. Him and Brian have some of the best interactions, some of the best episodes revolve around those two. I think Stewie is also in some of the most integral episodes of the show. Stewie is really funny and really great, so comes in here number 23 on the list. Coming in here next, number 22, we have Dwight Schrute. I mean, you can't not love Dwight, man. Dwight, just such a unique character. You know, he owns this farm, and him and Jim have some of the funniest interactions. Him and Michael, you know, he's such a kiss up. Really just love his background. Someone who's very unique and such a lovable character as well. Really has a lot of depth later on in the series as well. You know, he can be really funny, but, you know, they grow his character out to be more than just the funny, weird guy. So it's really great to see. Next here, for number 21, we have Michael Scofield from Prison Break. Michael Scofield, one of the best TV characters of all time. I really love Wentworth Miller in this role. Michael Scofield, man, such a mastermind and a genius. One of my favorite aspects of Prison Break, man. Just I love Michael, man. He's such a people person. He's such a great guy. Another one who's really loyal. Some of the best interactions with his brother Lincoln or with Fernando Sucre. And, you know, eventually with, you know, the antagonist, he's really great at, like, outsmarting, like, anyone in the series. Michael is so great, man. Really like him a lot. Comes in number 21 on the list. Next year, moving into number 20, we have Chase Matthews from Zoe 101. My favorite, or at least one of my favorite, childhood TV characters of all time. I related to Chase so much growing up, and I just think he was such a phenomenal character. I really liked his character a lot. He really makes that show stand out to me as one of the better Nickelodeon shows that was made, especially in the 2000s there. Chase Matthews, man, what a just great character, really well-built character. You know, I also really like a lot of other characters, like Michael was really close to making the list here. But yeah, for sure, Chase Matthews, one of the best TV characters and one of the most relatable characters, especially for me, of all time. Moving here to number 19, we have Josh Nichols from Drake and Josh here. Josh Nichols, you know, played by Josh Peck, one of my favorite Nickelodeon characters of all time. So great, works well off of everyone on the show. Josh is just such a funny character, man. Really does a great job of portraying like this really overweight, lovable kid when it first starts out, and then really growing into a really great man and great character as the series progresses into more of his later teenage years. So I think that Josh Nichols is just such a really well thought out character while also being really funny as well. So at number 19, Josh Nichols here. Coming in here next at number 18, we have the Trinity Killer from Dexter here. My favorite TV villain of all time. Easily my favorite season is season 4 of Dexter, and John Lithgow, probably my favorite performance from him in anything he's ever done. It's just phenomenal, man. The most well thought out villain, especially in Dexter. Such a great backstory. You're just so intrigued with his character, and you really want to know more about him. One of my favorite characters of all time for sure. Next here at number 17, we have Leo from That 70s Show. My favorite side character of all time. Tommy Chong is one of the most funny characters ever, man. I freaking love Tommy Chong. I really love Leo. His interactions with Hyde, some of the funniest in the show. Leo being this whole stoner persona, it's just hilarious to see. And Leo is just a fan favorite, man. Can't not love Leo. Coming here next, number 16, we have Red Foreman from That 70s Show. My favorite That 70s Show character has got to be Red Foreman here. Dumbass, I'm going to put my foot in your ass. Some of my favorite lines. I find that so funny. His interactions with Bob are hilarious. With Eric, with Hyde. Like, he works well with anyone. Like, as you could put Red in a scene with anyone, and it would be hilarious, man. Red, just such a great character, really built for the 70s. I think it was just really great to have him in there. Next here at number 15, we have Chandler Bing from Friends. Chandler Bing, man, I love Chandler in the earlier seasons. He really has a lot of great growth in the later seasons as well, but I really loved him in the earlier seasons. One of the funniest characters. I love his sarcasm. It's really, really great. Plays really well with everyone else in the show. Chandler Bing, a legend in the TV world, like I said, with a lot of these characters. Number 14 here, we have Patrick Star from SpongeBob. Who didn't love Patrick growing up? Probably the king of dumb humor. Patrick is just such a fun, lovable character. There's a lot of episodes where Patrick can just be really selfish, but it's just so funny because you just know Patrick is just so clueless. It's just so funny how he can interact with anyone, just have such a great scene. Patrick is really the star of the show. Screw the Patrick Star show, but Patrick being in SpongeBob was great. I think SpongeBob was great too. Another one of these honorable mention characters, SpongeBob, but Patrick Star for me, I think is just the standout on the SpongeBob SquarePants series here. Next here at number 13, we have Daenerys Targaryen, man. I love Daenerys. Game of Thrones here. She really turned into like one of my favorite characters, and I'm not really satisfied with how they ended things with Daenerys, but I loved her character, man. She was just so sweet and so thoughtful, and I loved. She was also a really badass character. I just loved her character. Emilia Clarke was amazing as Daenerys, man. I just really, really enjoyed her character. She really connected with me throughout the entire show run. But coming in here at number 12, we have my favorite Game of Thrones character. I always go back and forth between him and Daenerys because Tyrion here at number 12, Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones. I always go back and forth with him and Daenerys because they're just both so great, and at points it was like Tyrion's my favorite, no, Daenerys is my favorite, no, Tyrion's my favorite. So it was just always back and forth between those two, but most people would agree that Peter Dinklage is the star of the show here. He is the best character. Tyrion is so great, man. Tyrion, he uses his brains. He's like Davos but on steroids, man. He's just really, really great, lovable character. I love his interactions with everyone. He tries to be friendly with everyone. Someone who really tries to keep the peace, and someone who really thinks strong and is really great as well. Next here at number 11, we have Michael Scott from The Office. Probably in the top 10 for most recognizable. He just misses out here. He's so close for me for being in the top 10. Michael Scott here comes in at number 11. I mean, Michael's such a lovable character, really quirky, unique, out there, funny, lovable, just all of these great characteristics about Michael. He can really be selfish at points and really just think for himself and not care about anyone. But as you go through the series, you learn how much he cares for everyone in the office. And they just do a really great job of building Steve Carell as Michael Scott in this great role. Steve Carell, my favorite role that he's ever played. Just such a great performance as Michael Scott. The show just was never the same when Michael left. And you can really see that because Michael Scott as a character is like the heart and soul of The Office. So yeah, coming in at number 11, we have Michael Scott. Coming in here next at number 10, we have my favorite childhood show character of all time. That is going to be Mr. Mosby here from The Suite Life of Zack and Cody, or you can put The Suite Life on Deck. He was in both shows. Some of the funniest childhood show scenes come from Mr. Mosby, man. Mr. Mosby was always my favorite growing up. The Prindle scene, his interactions with Zack and Cody and Maddie and London were always hilarious, man. Esteban, Arwen, just really great, man. Mr. Mosby, this manager of this hotel, I just find him hilarious. Phil Lewis just does such a great job playing Mr. Mosby here. Marion Mosby. Can't get enough of Marion Mosby, man. One of the best TV characters of all time. And comes in here at number 10 on the list. Coming in here at number 9, I almost thought about putting this person at 11 because they were really close with everyone, but I decided to put them at number 9, and that is going to be 11 from Stranger Things. I love her character. Millie Bobby Brown does a phenomenal job. I've loved her in every season of Stranger Things so far. And, I think she just does a really great job as a child actor, moving into now as an adult, doing such a great job of portraying this main character. She's my favorite female character of all time. I love 11, man. So such a likable, lovable character here, and I can't get enough of her as a character. Comes in at number 9 on the list. Next here at number 8, we have Ron Swanson here from Parks and Recreation. I loved Ron Swanson, man. Who didn't love Ron Swanson in Parks and Rec? Such a great, lovable, funny character who was just so great with everyone else in the show here. I mean, Ron, played by Nick Offerman, one of my favorite actors of all time here. Ron Swanson's character was phenomenal, man. You weren't a Parks and Rec fan if you didn't love Ron Swanson, man. Ron Swanson, such a legendary TV character and someone who will go down in the history book. Next here at number 7, we have Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. Another fan favorite character here. Jesse Pinkman, so great. I loved Aaron Paul in this role. Plays this character so well. Really interacts with everyone really well. Shows a lot of depth. Great acting. Just phenomenal character building here. Bravo Vince again for number 6. Here we have Walter White from Breaking Bad. I know a lot of people would think that Walter White would be number 1 here, or would think that he's number 1. I still love Walter, but I think there's a few characters that are a little bit better than him in my opinion. Walter White is great though. Probably the greatest TV character ever made, people would say. Just does such a great job building the story of Walter being this kind of loner, loser teacher who turns into this badass meth kingpin. So I love that about Walter. So great. Coming in here at number 5, we have Dexter Morgan here. So yeah, Walter and Dexter. I go with Dexter here. Dexter Morgan from Dexter. One of the greatest anti-heroes ever made. I absolutely love Dexter, man. One of the best main characters in a show. One of the most fleshed out characters. I know a lot of people weren't as big of a fan of how Dexter ended, but you can't not go without appreciating this character. Michael C. Hall, one of my favorite actors of all time, along with Bryan Cranston, does such a phenomenal job here as Dexter Morgan, playing this, serial killer when he kills other serial killers. I think it's just really, really fantastic show. And, without Dexter, carrying the show, who knows how the show would have been. Dexter Morgan, phenomenal character. Next here at number 4, we have Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy. I have mentioned before that I believe that Jax Teller is the greatest anti-hero of all time. I just love Jax's character. Charlie Hunnam is so great. I really connected with Jax so much in the series. I just really felt for Jax in like every scene he was in. Does a phenomenal job in every scene that he's in. His character's amazing. Such a badass character. Fits every mold for me as pretty much a perfect character here. Next here at number 3 here we have Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Mike has turned into my favorite character in Breaking Bad. When I first finished Breaking Bad, it was always like 1A, 1B with Walter and Jesse. But the more I rewatched Breaking Bad and seen Better Call Saul now too, Mike has become my favorite character and comes in here at number 3 on the list, man. Mike literally checks any box for such a great character. He's a badass. He's we know he's in the criminal world, but he does it for the right reasons. He's lovable. You connect with him. He's charismatic. He's great. He's got a great demeanor about him. He can be funny at moments. He's just such a well-rounded character, and I cannot get enough of him. Next here, number 2, we have Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother. My favorite How I Met Your Mother character for sure. Barney is such a legend, and he is a legend. Wait for it, Derry. Oh, wow. I just love Barney, man. He is just so great, man. So funny, so charismatic, so energetic. I love his schemes and just the way his character is kind of built. He can be kind of outlandish, but he's also really funny as well. Barney is just so great. Comes in number 2 on the list. But for anyone who's known me, number 1, and probably will always be number 1, is going to be Steve Urkel here from Family Matters. I know that is such an obscure pick from what anyone else would think or would say for their top 100 TV characters, but I love Steve. I grew up on Steve Urkel. I didn't laugh any harder in a show than with Steve Urkel. I laughed so hard. I can still watch his funniest moments and clips on loop endlessly. He's just so funny to me. I always get a kick out of Steve. Jaleel White is such a great actor. I love any scene that Steve is in, I will watch. It's just some of the best TV out there for me. Some of the TV that makes me the happiest. And for that reason, Steve Urkel comes in here at number 1 on my list. So yeah, that does it here for the characters, top 100 characters here. A long list here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully you're able to leave your comments down below. Like I said, comment down below your favorite character, as well as what show had the most represented characters on here. We had 2 shows tied here. I want to see which one, if you can guess either one. If you can guess either one, or if you can guess both, that will be bonus points. I will pin the first one in the chat and like all of the other ones that point out which 2 shows have the most represented characters. Without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed this 1 year special video for you guys. Lots more content coming out. So yeah, peace out.